Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. So a lot of the talk is not only about the performance, but it was about him and Alicia Keys getting a little close on stage. I will touch that. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. Okay, I got a good show set up for you guys, of course, because my Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions, so you know we're going to talk about that. I got some quick news. I actually don't have sports updates because all we're going to do is talk about the Super Bowl. Y'all know what time it is. Get your headphones on, get your earbuds in, turn your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again, beating San Francisco 49ers 25-23 in overtime. All right, let's talk about my Kansas City Chiefs. I have been nervous all year, to be honest with you. In my heart, of course, I wanted them to win, but my brain was telling me it wasn't really likely. If you ask me, this was the Kansas City Chiefs' most difficult season and the most difficult road to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes never plays on the road during playoffs. He had to play 2 games on the road. They had no home field advantage, but they were able to pull it off in the playoffs. They managed to get to the Super Bowl and they won. It wasn't a pretty Super Bowl by any means. They did not even score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. The game was a low scoring game. It wasn't a lot of action, but they won. And that's all the most important thing that a Kansas City Chief like me, a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, would want. That's all we would want. We want them to win. The defense definitely carried them throughout the most of the game, holding the San Francisco 49ers down to 10 points. And, for, I think, until the fourth quarter. I think the score, if I'm not mistaken, it was 10-0 for, I think, the first half. 10-3. Yes, because we scored the field goal before halftime. So it was a low scoring game. It wasn't a high production offensive game, but I think both teams, knowing how dangerous and how productive their offensive are, knew that it had to be a defensive game. So the defensive strategy pulled out. That's some information for those of you who are thinking it was a boring game. It was planned to be a defensive strategy. We saw Kansas City do that against Baltimore in the AFC Championship with the second half of the game. It looked boring, but it was Patrick Mahomes managing the game, running down the clock, and letting the defense win it for them. Their defense brought them into overtime, and then it was Patrick Mahomes' turn. Patrick Mahomes, they got the ball. Well, San Francisco 49ers got the field goal. They should have gotten a touchdown. That's what you have to do in overtime. But the new overtime rules are that everybody gets to touch the ball. Every team gets to touch the ball. So it was Patrick Mahomes' chance. They went down. They scored a touchdown, and they won it. So that's my little recap of the Super Bowl. For those of you who didn't see it, I'm sure most of you watched it. But yeah, it was a good game. Let me know in the comment section below if you're going for San Francisco or if you were going for Kansas City like me. I want to know because a lot of people were against Patrick Mahomes. He was saying that he was the bad guy. He was the villain for the first time almost in his career because he's winning so much now that you don't want to see him win. I like dynasties. I like seeing the same team win, especially when it's my team. Like I told you guys, I've been going for Patrick Mahomes since his rookie year in the league. So this was a big win for me. What are the other highlights is that this was the second time in Super Bowl history that we ever had an overtime. I thought there was more overtimes in Super Bowl, but yeah, according to the statistics, this was the second time in Super Bowl history that it went into overtime. This is Patrick Mahomes' third MVP. I think we said that already, that this was his third championship and his third MVP. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes. And lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs are the fourth team in Super Bowl history to win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. They are the fourth team in history to win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. The one stat that I was looking for is that has a team ever done a three-peat like how Jordan did and Kobe and Shaq did? I don't know if it's has ever been done in the NFL. I've been watching the Super Bowl in the NFL for a long time. I don't remember it happening. Sorry that I didn't Google it before the show. And I was just thinking about it now. I wonder if there's been an NFL team that has gone on to do a three-peat. And if not, I wonder if Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs could pull it off next year and do a three-peat. And I hope so, man. I'm rooting for them. I think that's it when you're covering. And of course, sorry, we cannot talk about Kansas City without talking about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift did make an appearance. She got there on time. There was rumors that she wasn't going to make it because she had a show in Tokyo on Saturday. She did roll up. She rolled up with Ice Spice and another one of her friends. And she was there. I don't think they cut to her too much. I mean, a little bit more than your average celebrity that was in attendance because obviously she's Travis Kelce's girlfriend and she's Taylor Swift. So I hope people didn't get mad at that. But that's yet another reason why they wanted to hate on Kansas City was because of Taylor Swift. So, but there you have it. Kansas City won. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. Taylor Swift made it. And actually, sorry, I cannot forget about this. Everybody thought that Travis Kelce was going to propose to Taylor Swift. Even my nephew, he had a parlay and he bet that Kelce would propose to Taylor. There is no way that he would ever do such a thing on a stage like that. This is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. I knew for sure he would never propose to her. I also think it's a little too early. They've only been dating for a year. So I think it might be a little bit early for that. But I knew he was never going to propose to her. All right, that's it. I think I've covered everything that there was to cover on the Super Bowl. Again, shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to the coach, Andy Reid. Sorry, I forgot to talk about him. And shout out to the whole Kansas City staff, man. This was a tough year. It was an ugly year. It was an ugly year. We had I think we're the most dropped passes in the NFL. We were the most penalized offense in the NFL. Like, this was just bad year. And like I said, we had to play on the road to get here, but we pulled it off. And this just shows the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. He is my GOAT. To me, he's the greatest quarterback to ever live. I know he still has some work to do to catch up to Brady and Montana. I was hearing today, sorry I keep talking about this, but it is a Super Bowl. I was watching First Take today, and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe were like, this doesn't mean that he's the GOAT. They're more talking about that because he didn't have an amazing Super Bowl. But like we saw, and like I said a few minutes ago, they were strategically playing the game like this. They know that their offense is not what it used to be after losing Tyreek Hill and having all these new wide receivers. They know their offense is not what it used to be. So they're not going to be going down there and scoring 30, 40 points and getting 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. That was not their game plan. Their game plan is that we know we don't have the best offense. Let's use Patrick Mahomes when we need to, and then let's rely on our defense. That's what's been getting them here the whole season, and that's why they're even at the Super Bowl. So I don't think this takes anything away from Patrick Mahomes. If you ask me, in my personal opinion, it just adds even more to his depth. He's a running quarterback. He's a passing quarterback. And now you know he's a mentally strategic managing quarterback. He can play however you dish it to him. If he doesn't have a strong offense and he relies on his defense, he knows how to manage that. And not every quarterback and not every athlete is able to do that, to have the mental strength and the mental fortitude not to throw interceptions and not to throw bad passes and not to make bad decisions, just wanting to win. He calmed down, he slowed the game down, and he took the win how it was brought to him. And I think that is even more recognition. We should give him more recognition and more praise for that than only being just a pocket passer or only being a running quarterback, how like Lamar Jackson is, or a pocket quarterback like how Brady is. Brady was a pocket quarterback. Lamar is a running quarterback. Mahomes is both, and he's a game manager. So, okay, that is it. That was my last thing. Like I said, I'm very excited. This is my team. I'm not just bandwagging and getting on here because Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes. I've loved this team for the past 5 years. So 5 or 6 years since Patrick Mahomes has been there. So again, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs and shout out to the fans. Yo, we won Super Bowl. Let's go. Usher had one of the best Super Bowl halftime performances ever of all times. This podcast is turning into like a Super Bowl special, but how could I not talk about Usher Raymond's halftime performance? It was so good. He brought out Alicia Keys, Ludacris, Little John, and Jermaine Dupri and her. So a lot of the talk is not only about the performance, but it was about him and Alicia Keys getting a little close on stage. I will touch that. I just first want to talk and focus in on the performance and let you know why I think it was definitely one of the best, if not the best. Usher has so many hits. I heard that he asked to try to bring the halftime show to 15 minutes instead of 13 minutes, and they didn't let him. But he was ramming in all of his hits, and obviously he couldn't even sing them to their entirety. Some of them he sung for 10 or 15 seconds, but just the energy that he brought, the stage performance, the stage layout, it was amazing. Him bringing out, all right, let's get to Alicia Keys. So Alicia Keys, actually, you know what? Before I talk about Alicia Keys, I just want to continue on the performance. The roller skating, I thought was a great addition. I don't think anyone's ever roller skated during the Super Bowl halftime show. That's a staple out in Atlanta where he's from. He's actually born in Cleveland, but he credits Atlanta because that's where he grew up. So that's a big roller skating thing in Atlanta. So he paid homage to that. But just Usher's hits, his dancing, his performing, his singing, just everything. I don't know. To me, it was one of the best. I know everybody liked Rihanna last year. Of course, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem, that was great. People are also going back to Michael Jackson and Prince. But if you ask me, it's kind of hard to go back to that, to say like who's the best and who was the number one, because Michael Jackson was in that era. Prince was around in that era. Well, Prince did in 2007, but I don't know. I just think like maybe not the best ever because that's hard over all this time, but definitely up there in the top 3 or top 5. Usher totally killed it. Okay, let me get to the beef between Alicia Keys. Well, sorry, the alleged beef between Swiss Beef and Alicia Keys and Usher. So we all know Usher performed My Boo with Alicia Keys, and he got a little close. He got a little touchy-feely. And Swiss Beats put out this statement. Y'all talking about the wrong darn thing. Y'all don't see that amazing dress covering the entire stadium. Tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with 2 amazing giants. Congratulations, Usher, and my love, Alicia Keys. That song is a classic. We don't do negative vibes on this side. We make history. So everybody online was kind of dragging Swiss Beats a little bit, like, yo, that can't be my wife. Why would you let Alicia Keys do all that? But of course, he has no control. Alicia Keys is her own person. A lot of people are saying it wasn't rehearsed that way, that they weren't too touchy-feely. I feel like that's got to be spoken about. I'm sure there was a couple of little ad-libs, but if you go back and watch the video, they were very close and flirty in the video. I know she wasn't married at that time, but part of being on stage is reenacting the video or reenacting the song, right? So they couldn't get up there and completely be distant from each other. They're 2 performers, and the song is about his boo. So, of course, he had to be a little touchy-feely. But I can understand why people are dragging Swiss Beats online. I'll read to you guys some comments. Kevin_22 wrote, Alicia Keys out here playing with Swiss Beats. Unpopular opinion, she was not needed. Oh my gosh, very unpopular opinion. She was the second best thing of the show. Of course, Usher being the first best, but come on, if you didn't bring out Alicia Keys, it would not have been the same show. Kenneth22 wrote, Alicia Keys scared me a little with her first note that she sung. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I mean, I had a little Super Bowl party, a big Super Bowl party at my house. I don't remember her first note being off, but I was literally jumping around on the couches and I had the volume up and I was dancing, so I didn't notice that, but I did see a lot of comments that said that she was off key her first couple of notes. So, One Little Joy wrote, I thought Jermaine Dupri was CeeLo Green. That's funny. Nyla235 wrote, y'all heard her voice crack? See, again, that's again what somebody else wrote. Again, somebody wrote here too. How was Alicia Keys off on her first note? I guess we have like some professional singers in the house. Here we go. Let's get back to Swiss Beats. America's Finest wrote, Swiss Beats somewhere filing divorce papers. Oh my gosh, man. Brian Huslin wrote, best halftime performance in a long time. All right. He's not with me, one of the greatest ever, but at least he's saying it was the best performance in a long time. Photo B Reem said, one of the greatest halftime shows of all times. Kevin825 said, that could never be my wife. Chris _257 wrote, Swiss Beats, come get your girl. Anyways, like I told you guys, man, yeah, people were really going in on Swiss Beats this morning. I feel bad for him. I could get why people are, a little bit going on like that. He was a little close to her. But like I said, that's how they are in the video, and they're professionals. Apparently, Usher actually got a marriage license in Vegas. So I don't know if he's getting married after Super Bowl or he got married before, but Alicia Keys is happily married to Swiss Beats, and Usher has his wife, has his fiance and is soon getting married. So there's no dating rumors or no divorce rumors going on in these happy households. Like I said, these are two artists and they're performing. Oh, and I can't forget, I got to shout out her playing on the guitar. I saw something online of like she was there as a kid, like how it started and how it finished. So shout out to Usher for bringing her out as well. And where was Justin Timberlake? I heard that Justin Bieber. There was rumors that Justin Bieber was going to come out, but I guess he doesn't have like a smash hit with Usher. But I heard rumors that Justin was going to be there and Usher was going to bring him out, but Justin was not there. So shout out to Usher, Alicia Keys, Lil Jon, Ludacris, and her. Kanye West released his album over the weekend, and he tweeted out that Vultures is currently #1 in 72 countries. All right, you guys know I've been tracking this album release for the past 2 or 3 months, seeing if Kanye West can do it again, seeing if he can come back from anti-Semitic remarks and being canceled and dropped from every major platform that was carrying him, from Adidas to Def Jam to Universal to everybody, to all his endorsements. Could Kanye West come back? And it looks like he has come back somewhat. Being #1 in 72 countries is no small feat. He had no major album. He had no major record label supporting him. He did this all independently on his own. The one thing that I haven't been able to find is how many units they've sold. So that would be a really telling thing for us to know. I don't know that maybe now, because it's his own private label that it's coming out with, maybe these numbers will not be made public. I don't know. But I'm sure Spotify and these platforms that they released the album on, they have some sort of data. So I don't know just if it hasn't come out yet or that Kanye West will hold it close to his chest. I don't know. But the one indication that we can see is that he's #1 in 72 countries. Nobody else has reported that. I just want to make that clear. Not even any bloggers. It's only been Kanye that's reported that. So I don't know how much truth is to that. But the album is out. It is here. He did it independently. And I was surprised to see that it was actually on all the major platforms. It was on all the major streaming platforms. It was on Spotify. Well, actually, it came on Spotify late, and people thought that Spotify just didn't want to let him on. But apparently, it was kind of just like a loading issue, or they had some issue with Kanye West's team not getting them the right track on time. But it did release on Apple and Tidal, and I think Google Music, YouTube, etc. The only one that it wasn't on right when it dropped was Spotify, and then I think maybe 10 hours later, Spotify actually released it. So it was on all the major platforms. Now, like I said, it's not backed by a major record label. It's not Universal. It's not. There's no Sony. There's no Warner. This is just Kanye West. I think it's like Yeezy Records that I've put this out, and at least the platforms are giving him a chance. So we will see. We will see what this means. We will see if if he could sell 500,000 or 1 million units. Like I told you guys last week, he doesn't need to do the numbers that he did previously. He doesn't need to do that because this is independent. So I gave the example of him on a major record label. If he sold, let's say, an album for $10, he would only get $1. Now with him owning the album outright, he sells an album for $10, he probably gets to pocket $9 or $8. Of course, you got to minus the recording budget, etc. But making $1 off a major record label versus making $8 off his own label, he does not have to sell 1 million units. But knowing Kanye, he's going to want to get some numbers. So I'm really interested to find out what these numbers are. But like I reported earlier, he's number one in 72 countries. The album is out. I took a listen to it. There are some good hits. Is it a Kanye West classic? No, but it seems to me like it's a decent album for what it is. It's a joint album with him and Ty Dolla $ign. And like, we got to give him his props. He did it. He put it out. Let's see now what he could do with the fashion and the footwear. Can he get a release done without having Adidas or a major backing? And then we'll have Kanye fully back, music and fashion. Let's see what he can do. All right, let's get into some quick news. Ring my bell. Shannon Sharpe and Mike Epps are beefing because Mike Epps said that Shannon Sharpe wanted him on Club Shay Shay, and of course, Shannon is denying it. Let me tell you about it. All right, I had to report on this because Shannon Sharpe, Uncle Shannon, I'm a big fan of Club Shay Shay, and I saw this becoming an issue last week when everybody was talking about Shannon Sharpe and Monique, and then and Mike Epps was on stage and he said this. He said, actually, I think I have a recording. Let me play it for you.
Shannon Sharpe called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interview.
So when I heard that, I didn't believe it even for 1 second, because when actually Cat Williams was on Club Shay Shay, Mike Epps was in the comment section being like, how did he name all these comics and he didn't name me? Knowing that he wanted to be part of the conversation, because they were talking about Steve Harvey, they were talking about Kevin Hart, they're talking about Monique, etc., and nobody said anything about Mike Epps. So why a month and a half later would Shannon Sharpe call you and then you not want to go on? So I knew there was no way. And of course, Shannon Sharpe was on his podcast, was on Nightcap with Ocho Cinco, and he had this to say.
Say your little joke, get your little laugh off, have fun, but just don't lie and said I said something when I didn't. And you know who you are, mofo.
Like I told you guys, I knew that was all cap. There was no way that any comedian right now in their right mind would turn down a Shannon Sharpe interview. No celebrity, period. Shannon Sharpe is the hottest, if you want to call him a YouTuber or a podcaster, call him whatever you want. Shannon Sharpe has the #1 entertainment show right now. So there is nobody that if they had something to promote or they wanted to get something out there, wouldn't go on Shannon Sharpe's podcast or his show. So anyways, I don't know why Mike Epps would do this. I actually like Mike Epps. He's super funny, but I don't know why he would do this. And now he's just ruined all his chances. He's probably never going to be on the show. Probably what really happened is probably Mike wanted to be on the show and Shannon probably told him no. So he's like, let me use this as, something to go viral and have Shannon at least talk about me. Who knows? Or maybe this is actually hype for him to actually be on the show. Who knows these days what's really going on? During the Super Bowl, Beyonce had a commercial with Verizon and she announced the release of her Act 2, her new album coming out March 29th. There has been some mixed reactions online. A lot of people are happy that there is an Act 2, and we knew that there was always going to be an Act 2 and Act 3 that was coming out for Renaissance. And for those of you who don't know, Renaissance was a kind of like a dance album, a throwback to 80s dance music, disco. And nobody knew what Act 2 was going to be. And it's a country album. She released 2 songs. And like I said, online is kind of having a little bit of mixed reactions. I don't follow like country blogs or country sites, so I don't know how like a real country music person is feeling. But, her average fan doesn't seem too impressed by the 2 songs. I listen to them. They're good. I enjoy country music myself. A lot of people might be surprised at that, but I think country music is actually really good. Was it overwhelming? Do I think it's going to be like a Beyonce classic, the 2 songs that I heard? No, I don't think they'll be classics, but they're good songs. And like I said, I think that she's more playing for the country audience. We have seen a couple of artists in past kind of branch out and do different music. So I think this is probably what these acts are going to be. Renaissance was, dance, disco culture. The second act now is going to be country music. I wonder what the third is going to be. I hope it's like reggae or something, like go to Jamaica and make an album. She already does have one song with Sean Paul, and we know that she likes reggae music. So who knows? This is just me speculating that act 3 will be reggae. Who knows? I didn't hear that, just to make that clear. But yeah, shout out to Beyonce. Shout out to her fans. We get a new Beyonce album. I don't know if she's going to go out on tour. I really don't think so. She just came off of a world tour. I don't think she's going to tour every album of every act. But I don't know. I'm sure if she did tour, people would definitely come out. But we're getting a new Beyonce album March 29th. It's a country music act 2. Kim Kardashian was spotted with Odell Beckham on the weekend in Vegas. Now, I don't want my podcast to be like, he said, she said, and talking about relationships and stuff. I mean, I do have a reputation to uphold. But, I mean, this is Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham. So I got to talk about it. Last week, they said that they were actually going to make the relationship public. And I even said last week, I didn't even know they were together. And I run an entertainment podcast. Like I had no clue. They have been really keeping it hush hush. I never knew anything about it. And like I said in my podcast last week, there were speculations that they were going to announce their relationship. I don't know if this means announcing it because they were spotted somewhere shopping. I thought it was going to be something more like maybe, I don't know, like a press release, or they would be seen kind of like holding hands. But I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe the fact that they were actually seen in public, then that means that the relationship is now public. I didn't see them like sitting together at the Super Bowl. I didn't see them holding hands. I didn't see them at like a party kissing or anything like that. Oh my gosh, this is really getting girly. Sorry, but I have to talk about it. But anyways, yeah. So I don't know. For those of you guys out there who are thinking that, Kim Kardashian was single all these years, it's over, guys. She's with Odell Beckham. It's quote unquote official. Jada Pinkett Smith reportedly scares off intruders in an attempted home evasion. I don't understand these celebrities, how they don't have bodyguards at their houses 24/7. Anyways, let me read the report to you. According to TMZ, Jada Pinkett Smith had a scary incident take place earlier this week after 2 men attempted to break into her home. Law enforcement tells the outlet that the man climbed onto her balcony and tried to break in before Jada spotted them and scared them off. Officers responded to the scene and took a report, but they were unable to capture the suspects. It is unclear if Jada was at home alone at the time, but thankfully nobody was harmed. First of all, why are they saying it was Jada's house? Jada and Will live together in their own house, so I don't know what is going on with this here. And I don't know, maybe this was at a second home. Maybe she has another home that we don't know about. But how are you a celebrity and like Jada Pinkett Smith and you don't have security around you all the time? Like, this is nuts to me. But anyways, shout out to Jada. Shout out to her. I don't know how she scared her off. Like, Jada is 5 feet tall, but I guess whatever, just a person being there maybe scared them off. But anyway, shout out to Jada. Glad that nobody was hurt. Sony Music buys half of Michael Jackson's publishing and recording masters in a deal valued $1.2 billion. According to Billboard, Sony will pay at least $600 million for its stake in the rights to Michael Jackson's catalog. The deal reportedly includes multiple titles by Sly and the Family Stone, as well as hits written and performed by Jerry Lee Lewis, Curtis Mayfield, Ray Charles, Percy Sledge, and more. However, it does not include royalties from Michael Jackson on Broadway and other theatrical productions. So there you have it. For those of you who don't know, Michael Jackson was very, very big on owning masters and recording music and owning music. He owns rights to the Beatles. Well, not him, but his estate now owns it. So I guess selling it back to Sony is them profiting and making money. I don't know if Michael Jackson would have done this if he was alive, but people are selling catalogs and people are selling music. We've heard a lot of people, Irv Gotti sold off Murder Inc. for $300 million. People are selling off a lot of their catalogs and a lot of, the rights to the recording masters. So this is a thing. But I don't know, I guess who knows how much Michael Jackson bought it for, but if he's selling it for close to $1.2 billion, that's a win. Again, I'm sorry that I keep on saying him. It's his estate and the 2 people who I just named who are the executors of his estate. But this is a win. This is a win for the Jackson family. So shout out to Michael Jackson and rest in peace. Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan spark split rumors after unfollowing each other and removing each other's photos on their Instagram. Okay, I said I didn't want my podcast to get relationship-y and all girly, but this is huge news. I mean, Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan, everybody hated this idea of a relationship from the beginning. For those of you who don't know, Larsa Pippen is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, and of course, Marcus Jordan is Michael Jordan's son. Why would you want to date? Why would Michael Jordan's son be dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife? It's even hard to even think, to process it, to have the words coming out my mouth. But anyway, so Marcus, of course, was dating Larsa. Most of you know that already, and now they're sparking that they're breaking up. I don't know what could have happened. They had a podcast together. Everybody was talking about them getting married. They were actually talking about getting married. They were actually talking about having kids. And I know it seems a little kind of like high schoolish to be like, oh, they don't follow each other on Instagram anymore. But in this day and age, that is letting people know and letting the public know that there was something that's going on. You know what I mean? Like, remember when Drake unfollowed Ice Spice? Like, we knew that there was something going on. So if you unfollow somebody, that's almost like a public statement. That's like a PR statement. But not only did they unfollow each other, but they deleted all their pictures of each other on their Instagram. So to me, that's a breakup. I would love to know what happens. Both of them love the limelight. Of course, Larsa a little bit more than Marcus, but I'm sure in the next couple of days, we're going to find out what has happened and what's going on. But it's sad to say, but a lot of people are actually happy to hear this. I wonder what Michael Jordan thinks. There was a reporter at one point that asked him if he approved of the relationship, and they said that he didn't. I'm sure that's not why they broke up, because they were together for months after that. But I don't know, man. I think it's a good move, whoever broke up with who, because that was just a weird relationship and a weird potential marriage. I mean, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan's son and Scottie Pippen's ex-wife getting married. That would have just been weird. So happy for them that they woke up and they have actually moved on. Well, I'm speculating that they moved on, but I'm pretty sure. The Raising Kanan finale dropped, and it was amazing. All right, I had to talk about this really quickly before I go. For those of you who are fans of the Power universe and like the spinoffs as much as I do, Raising Kanan had their season 3 season finale, the season finale of season 3, and it was amazing. Throughout the season, I'm always kind of like iffy and I with Raising Kanan. I actually think the best spinoff is Ghost. But of course, BMF is good. Raising Kanan is good. And I like all of them. Even, what's the other one? Force, which is Tommy's show. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. But anyways, yeah, Raising Kanan is not my favorite one, but I feel like this year they really came into their own and had a really, really great season. I'm not going to have any spoiler alerts. I'm not going to tell you guys what happened, but it was just really good. I don't know what to say. It's hard to talk about it without, letting anything out, but I will let you know that we lost some characters. Very surprisingly, I did not see that coming. I'll tell you this because, everybody I'm sure knows this. It's leaked online. Unique was actually not dead. Unique was killed, reportedly killed in episode 5. Everybody was saying that they didn't believe it. And then, of course, he came back. He was the last part of the season finale to show that he is still alive. So Joey Badass is back. His character, Unique, is back. But the thing that I liked about season 3 the most is that we're finally starting to see Kanan grow up. We're starting to see him actually now, Kanan's, how like he was on Kanan's role in the actual show Power, right? Kanan was the guy who introduced Ghost and Tommy to the streets, right? And that's what I didn't like about Raising Kanan. I thought they started him off too young. But I know it's raising him, so they had to show the raising years, but it took him to season 3 for Kanan to start like actually getting into the drug game and actually doing some street stuff. Again, not promoting street stuff, but this is the basis of the show, right? That's the basis of Power Universe. But anyways, that's what my favorite part of season 3 was. I really like that the Kanan character is starting to develop, and we're actually starting to see him do some street stuff and see, how this whole Power universe actually started. And that's another thing. What I like about this show is that if you really like Power, then really Raising Kanan is actually the real prequel. So it's not really a spinoff. It's actually really a prequel. And they're starting out from Kanan because he was one who showed Tommy and Ghost, the street life. So anyways, shout out to my Power Universe fans. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I gave you a little bit of spoiler alerts, but everybody knew Unique was alive anyways, but go watch it. It was a great season finale. I can't wait for season 4. And I think I seen that BMF is starting March 1st. So every time there's, one series ends, a month or 2 months later, there's another series ends. So we have something from 50 Cent and the Power Universe throughout the whole year. That's why I love it. I recommend for those of you who are not watching it to go watch it now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. For more content, you could subscribe, download, or listen to the Trent Out Loud podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you could watch us on YouTube. Just search Trent Out Loud. For showtimes and updates, you could follow us on all social platforms at Trent Out Loud. Go to signupexpert.com/Trent. Once you sign up for all betting apps and get all your bonuses and get all your rewards, go to your app store and download BetStamp and use promo code TOL.